Hi, and in this video, we're going to talk about 4 tips to help you text like a pro in dating. Hi there, Matt Schaefer, your empowerment, connection, and relationship coach, here with 4 tips that are going to help you be more effective as you're texting him and getting to know a guy during the dating process. There's a lot of ways that this can go sideways, right? There's a lot of ways where you can text yourself out of a second date or a third date or even a relationship. So let's give you 4 tools that are going to help you text more effectively when you want to get to know him and really just have fun in that process. So before we do, take a second, hit that little subscribe button. I'm uploading new content all the time and I'd love to have you as a part of the tribe. So let's dive into this. Now, tip 1 is very simple but very important. In early stage dating, texting is a tool, not a platform to get to know someone. And I know this is very tempting, right? Because you're shy, maybe you've just met a guy online or you're just getting to know him. It's very early on. It's easy to sort of default into texting with a guy and trying to get to know him that way. That is not the way to foster a deep connection with a man. You want to save your getting to know him conversations about what he's into and his hobbies and his passions and his stories and everything. Save those for when you're together, when you're with him face to face. Texting is a tool in early stage dating. And think of it like you're passing a note in class, right? When you were a kid, you wouldn't pass a note in class trying to have full-blown dialogues with your classmates or with your friends. You would pass a note in class to tell somebody to meet you behind the monkey bars, right? Or to ask you like one question. That's how you want to think of texting in early stage dating. It's a tool to coordinate dates, to set up times, to set up places for stuff, to figure out when you're going to meet up and have those deeper conversations. It's also a great way to show and demonstrate that you've enjoyed a date. So just a quick text after a date with a smiley face, letting him know that you had fun and you look forward to seeing him again. And along those lines, it's a really powerful tool for flirting, but in very, light, discreet ways. You don't want to get locked into a deep texting dialogue in the early stages of dating. You don't want to get into that pattern. You want to save those deeper conversations for the in-person conversations that you two are hopefully having on a regular basis. So in early stage dating, use texting as a tool rather than a platform to get to know somebody, and you'll have much better results and a much deeper, more meaningful connection with your partner. And you'll be less likely to sort of burn him out or push him away by over texting him in the early stages of dating, which is something that a lot of women have a tendency to do. Tip 2 now is don't make assumptions around his response times or the manner or style that he responds in terms of text. Don't make assumptions around this. So often women project, right? Women project, and not just women, but men too, but women particularly have a tendency to project around well, he waited 3 hours to text me back, or I sent him a paragraph and he only sent me back one sentence. So that's very easy to have that be considered a threat, to have that activate and trigger you and have you put your walls up and maybe shut down and pull away from a guy. I would invite you to don't automatically just project and jump to a conclusion around the way he texts or the timing of how he texts. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he doesn't enjoy texting as a primary form of communication. Maybe he's not a long-winded texter. Maybe he just doesn't really enjoy texting at all, right? Until you know him fully, don't leap to conclusions about his texting. Take everything with a grain of salt and sort of roll with him on that. And don't jump to conclusions or make assumptions around it. Sound good? Good. That brings us to tip 3, that in later dating, as you get into the middle and later stages of getting to know somebody and getting into a relationship with them, texting is like a dance. It's a dance in that you get to find out your partner's style and your style, and then you two get to move together, right? As two people would when they were dancing. Sometimes someone leads, sometimes the other person follows, but you two adapt and adjust and use texting as a way of sort of deepening your connection and make it very unique to your relationship, right? Not every relationship is going to have the same kind of texting dynamic. So figure out your partner's needs and what kind of intimacy they want. Maybe they're a once a day texter. Maybe they like being in an ongoing banter with you all day. I don't know. It's getting to know what your partner wants and what he likes, and then reaching a midpoint that's comfortable for both of you, right? Because if maybe you're more of an anxious attachment style and you want to have him connecting with him more often and you want to have more texting, and he's very much pulled back in terms of texting, find a middle ground that works for both of you, right? Because texting shouldn't be something that is causing you a lot of anxiety or feels like a burden to him. And that's oftentimes, I think, what happens in relationship, right? And that's when partners haven't communicated their needs and their preferences in terms of texting clearly with each other. So if you do that sort of as you enter this middle stage of dating, and texting becomes a very standard type of communication between the two of you, like really get clear on how much you like to text and how much he likes to text, and then find a middle ground that works and is easy for both of you. And last, the fourth tip, and by far the most important one, is never, and I repeat this, never have serious, deep, confrontive dialogues over text. Do your best to not have fights over text. If there's a major issue that you want to bring up, a confrontation that you want to have or that's important for you, do not broach the subject over text. Use texting to set up and coordinate a time for you two to talk about it face to face. Texting leaves way too many things open to interpretation. It's much more likely to trigger your partner if you bring up a major conversation over text. By all means, do not break up with someone over text. I've experienced that in my own life where I had someone tell me that they had met somebody else and wanted to see them, and they told me that over text message. And I was like, oh my gosh, like literally, you couldn't have picked a worse medium. I'd rather have gotten an email than a text message about something like that. So really do your partner the courtesy. If you want to have any kind of deep, confrontive dialogue about anything, use texting to set up a time to coordinate with them, and you'll have a much better outcome both for you and for them, because those conversations require, a dynamic back and forth exchange that works a lot better if you can see your partner's face. Sound good? All right, so those are 4 tips that are going to help you get better results with texting and relationship. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, take a second, hit that little subscribe button, and I will see you next time on my YouTube channel. Bye-bye.